What's good, y'all? Making the Walk MMA. We are in deep preparations for UFC 300. So I got the homies on. Um, Obviously, we got Frankie, who is always a great partner in crime. Then I got my actual real life partner in crime, CJ, who's gonna help us navigate through a pre-fight awards. So we are going to look at what we think could happen heading into UFC 300. So first of all, Frankie, how are you doing? How are you getting ready for this UFC 300 madness this week that we're about to head into?
Yeah, I'm fantastic, man. I've been looking to this forward to this week for a while. I've been complaining, I feel like, for 3 months solid. It's all been leading to this point of of excitement. I think it's going to be a great card. And like I said, we've got so much stuff going on this week. I think we're going to be producing more content this week than we ever have. It's going to be more polished than it ever has. So I'm really excited to see what we can do with it.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. So CJ, how are you feeling going into this? Are you excited? Are you nervous?
I'm
How do you feel?
excited. I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Good. So like I said, we're gonna do a little pre-fight award show where we're gonna dig into some of these fights, but we're gonna kind of guesstimate what we think is gonna happen. So CJ, I'll let you kind of guide us through this, all these awards that we got teed up. So what do you got for us?
All right. So we've got a 300 theme nomination, right?
Yeah.
Nomination? Okay. So we are going to look at some of these awards and nominate who we think is going to win this award. So if you haven't seen the movie 300, first of all, shame on you.
For real, like, how do you not see the movie 300 and like anything UFC or MMA related? It doesn't together. So if you haven't seen it, like, you need, as soon as you finish watching this, you need to go and watch 300 like immediately.
For sure. All right, you boys ready?
Yeah.
Ready.
Okay, we're gonna start with our first question. Frankie, I'm gonna start with you. So here's the first question. It's not a question, it's an award. Sorry. So Spartan standout. So this is for the fighter who displayed the most grit and determination.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a few potential nominations for this one. The first one that jumped to mind is, I think, Renato Moicano is somebody that stood out to me first of all, because I think he's going to have to navigate an enormous beating to win this fight. I think he's going to have to fake. I think he's going to take a massive shot at some point where he's going to get dropped. He's going to face some adversity, and I think if he's got any chance of winning this fight, he's going to have to navigate a moment like that. I think he was the first name that came to mind. I'm very worried for Renato.
Wait, you're worried? You're worried because of that beating that he's probably going to take?
Yeah, I think he's going to get a life-changing beating. And I like Renato. Yeah, I do. So
So you think he's going to display the most grit and determination?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still in two minds about who is going to win that fight. Surprisingly, I mean, I think everyone's on. I think everyone thinks Jalen Turner's going to kill him, but I'm kind of leaning back and forth towards. I do know he's going to get badly hurt at some point. I have a feeling, because I'm more thinking along the lines of, similar to what happened in the Dober fight.
Yeah.
When he looked like he was really badly out of there, and he managed to navigate it. He showed in the past that while he can be a little bit chinny, he is able to get through that adversity at times. He did it with 24 RDA. I know he lost that fight, but to jump in there at short notice, and I think he's going to need a very similar performance to get something out of that. So that was the first name that came to mind.
Yeah, he took an ass whipping when it came to RDA, for sure.
So is that's your final answer, Moicano?
Or I was thinking about, I have a feeling Rakic is going to have a rough time as well. because I think being out for 2 years and coming back and fighting an absolute lunatic like Yuri Prohaska in your first fight back, who's going to come forward constantly and throw everything he's got. I think he's going to have to come through some stuff as well. So I think those are probably. I mean, I don't want to pick the obvious one and say that the BMF one, because I think they're both going to have to. I think that could be two-sided.
Okay. Final answer.
So you gotta pick one.
I think I'm gonna go with Rakic.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with Rakic. Yeah.
All right, Jax.
Man, this is a tough one because I do think that there are a lot of fighters that are going to have to kind of walk through hell a little bit to get to a win. But for me, it's the person that does it most consistently, and that's Charles Oliveira. I think that he's going to have some adversity in this fight. And I think that as of late, as he's been, fighting the big fights at lightweight, I think that he's done very well outside of the Islam fight on being able to walk through the fire, get hurt, get dropped, and show what he's made of. So I got to go with Charles Oliveira. I'm going Charlie Olives.
Okay. Okay, I think I might surprise you guys. I think I will go in Jim Miller. I think it is going to be a tough fight for him. I listened to a couple of podcasts and just his fighting style and breaking it down. I'm going Jim Miller based off of how tough this fight's going to be. But yeah, that's going to be mine right there.
Yeah,
that's a great shout as well.
Yeah, Bobby Green is tricky. He's tricky, man.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what it is? It's the output that Bobby Green puts on. He's got really good takedown defense.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a rough night for Jim Miller, 100%.
For sure.
Sure, I like that one.
All right. Let's see. It's our next award here. I'm gonna start with you on this one, Jax.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we've got Leonitis leadership. So this is awarded to a ref or UFC staff member who took charge and made crucial decisions.
Man, this is a tough one because there's so many unsung heroes when it comes to the UFC staff. But I am gonna go with my boy Tate, man, the corner man Tate, and it goes back to that very person that I just mentioned. It's Charles Oliveira. We know that he lost out on the Islam fight because of a cut, and he actually had a cut going into this fight. People haven't really been talking about it a lot, but he had a bad cut going into this one as well. And I think that at some point, that corner man, it might be Tate, it might be House, but I'm gonna go with Tate because he's my favorite one. Is gonna have to fix that up for him to get him to continue in the fight. And he's got those Nate Diaz eyebrows. You just brush up against it and his whole eyebrow splits open. So I think that at some point somebody's gonna have to get some duct tape and put him back together, and that's gonna be Tate.
That's a good one. All right, Frankie, what you got?
I'm gonna go with the refs in this one. Who's the referee that looks like a Lego man?
Ooh. Wait, are you talking about Bobby Hill?
I'm gonna go with Bob. Well, let's just call him Bobby Hill.
Oh.
No nonsense, Keith Peterson.
There we go.
AKA Bobby Hill.
I'm gonna go with Keith Peterson because what I've noticed with Keith Peterson is he's the one ref that he's often very, very reluctant to penalize people for fence grabbing. I mean, we've seen numerous instances of fence grabbing over the last 10 or 12 cards, where it's multiple, and he hasn't done anything about it. So I think with this card being so big and so many stakes on the line, literally every fight has a major implication to it. I think that Keith Peterson is going to have to grow a pair of meaty clangers for this one. And actually, the thing is, there were so many eyeballs on this card. If he lets things go and it has a major outcome in one of these contests, and it really, because I don't know exactly what fight he's going to be, because we don't know what refs are going to be contesting which fights as of yet. But I get the feeling that he's going to come under a lot of scrutiny this time with so many eyeballs on. If he lets somebody gets away with eye poke, and there's been a lot of talk about eye poking, obviously with the Chris Weidman thing.
Yeah.
All the fence grabbing that's been going on. There seems to be more, there's always nut shots. I do love a good nut shot. I'm a good nut shot fan.
So does Bo Nickel. He loves them.
He loves them, yeah. Yeah. Very big fan of nut shots, yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna say that like Keith Peterson in particular is somebody who stands out to me, and I think he's gonna need to be very firm immediately. The first fight he sees it happening, he's got to lay it down, because I think fighters are starting to realize they can get away with it under him. And he's gonna come in serious hot water if he messes up at 300, because there's gonna be millions of people watching, and with the stakes that they're on, yeah,
it's a big one.
It's a good one. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Keith Peterson, yeah.
Okay, Keith Peterson. Okay, so for mine, mine is more of a hope. So I'm gonna nominate this person. But when I first heard that Bruce Buffer didn't want to say Jim fucking Miller, I thought that was shit.
Oh, this is a good one. You thought this one out. That's what it was.
I
That's
didn't. No.
I know what you did. No. I see what you did.
Okay. You know what? That it is. When I first saw this Leonitis leadership, I was like, it's got to be Bruce fucking Buffer, because it's two things. Like, one, he doesn't curse, right? I want to know if that's true. Like, if he stubs his toe, who doesn't say like fuck? What, you know what I'm saying, when they stub their toe? Anyway, but where's this pay-per-view gonna be? Is it gonna be on?
It's on ESPN, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so they can't cuss, right?
Yeah, they do. They do.
The thing is, yeah, I don't know if, obviously there's, you're gonna get fighters shouting things and whatnot, and you're gonna get corner mention, and obviously the crowd shouts things, but I think in terms of the media members and it's a big no-no on ESPN, from what I understand. I did read an article about it a couple of days ago.
I think he's gonna say it.
Exactly. That's what came up. So when I heard Izzy and who's on with Izzy
Dan Hooker?
on this, they talked about it. I thought it was a really good point. Like, just don't tell anyone you're going to do it, and then do it. You're going to get the Leonitis Award. So he said it would be a good, homage to Jim Miller. His 300. It's kind of at the end of his career.
Future Hall of Famer.
Future Hall of Famer. Yeah. Future Hall of Famer. Send him off with Jim fucking Miller.
Do like a Jim effing Miller, which wouldn't be as impactful, but
it's not saying.
What if he says like Jim friggin' Miller? It's like,
yeah, he's got to go for the full fucking, and he's got to say it with chest.
Yeah. Say it with your chest out.
I love that shout. That would be the bravest moment of the night, because he would get seriously fucked.
He would definitely get the Leonitis Leadership Award over anybody after that.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's a good one.
Okay,
that's a great shot. I like that.
You tricked us on that one. That was good.
Yeah,
I didn't. I just pushed for it. It was, it wasn't mine. I'll say that. Okay. Moving right along. Okay, so we're gonna go with the Frankie this time. Shield wall defense. So for the fighter with the best defensive performance.
Yeah, this is a tough one. There's a few people that I would consider for this one. I mean, I would say Cody Brundage, but I think if he brings an actual fucking shield in there, he's got no chance. If you bring a gun in there, I'd probably still pick Nickel. Kayla Harrison was somebody that I considered as well. I mean, Holly Holm is somebody I considered as well, because I genuinely think that Kayla Harrison is going to steamroller. I think if she's got any chance, she's going to have to be very defensively responsible in how she, moves around laterally and avoids those takedowns. But I'm going to have to go with Max Holloway.
Hmm.
I'm going to go with Max Holloway because I think I don't think he's faced anybody that has the power that Justin Gaethje has. And I think that in order for him to win this fight, he's going to have to. The one thing that's going for Max Holloway in this fight is his strike differential is higher than Justin's, but obviously Justin hits a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
If Max Holloway's going to win this fight, he's going to have to find a way of defensively evading as many strikes as possible.
Yeah,
I think it's the only chance because if he gets hit too much by Justin, I think he might get KO'd for the first time. So
it's not a bad choice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Max Holloway. I think that, and because I want him to win so badly as well, I think it would be so great for the amount of implications it would have. So I'm gonna, I have to go with Max Holloway.
Yeah.
There are a
I
few
like that.
nominees for this award, but I'm gonna go for Max Holloway.
Yeah. So that's not a bad pick at all, because
Yeah.
that defense is going to be extremely important for Max Holloway. But I had to go a different direction, and I'm actually going with Bobby Green. I think that Bobby Green's ability to evade strikes is otherworldly. His Philly shell defense is amazing. The ability to take that from boxing and bring that to MMA the way that he has is, I mean, I don't know anybody else that's doing that, that's done that. And I think in order for him to win this fight, he's going to have to really make sure that he's not being touched, because Jim Miller may not be the fastest, but he's got heavy hands. And alluding to that interview that you talked about, CJ, earlier, with or that conversation with Dan Hooker and Israel Adesanya, Dan Hooker mentioned how hard Jim Miller hits, and that
it was how hard he kicks.
Well, it was a hit.
But yeah.
And so with that being the case, and not to mention what we've just seen from Jim Miller on this recent resurgence, I don't think that Bobby can really be getting hit by this dude. And I think he understands the importance of staying clean in this fight. So I'm going to go with Bobby to try to pitch the shutout, try not to get touched, and spoil the party for Jim Miller.
Well, yeah, it's funny you say that, because that was actually going to be my pick as well, for the same reason. So, interesting. Okay, that's a good one.
And you know what's funny? I mean, what's interesting about them on this card? I think that's the most experienced fight. You know, they have the most experience on this entire card.
Really?
I mean,
yeah. Bobby Green's been around forever. I mean, the only one who compares in terms of how many UFC performances on the card would be probably Charles Oliveira, I'd assume.
Yeah,
Oh.
but just in terms of MMA in general, like Bobby Green's 31-15-1, and Jim Miller's 37-17. Like, that's a lot of fights.
I was thinking Davison, actually.
Davidson's got 26 total fights.
I see.
Bobby has more wins than he has whole fights.
Crazy.
True.
How many
Fair.
fights has Charles put together? He's got what? 43.
Yeah. Charles has been around. He's been around. Big fights too.
Big fights. Yeah, he's been in the UFC since he was like 21, right?
Yeah. Between him and Max Holloway, we watched them grow up before our eyes.
It's young.
Yeah.
All right. What's this next one? We're going to start off with you, Jax. So we've got Immortal Force. So this is for the fighter with the most powerful performance, seemingly unstoppable. This one's probably going to be a little more difficult than the others.
This one is very difficult, but when I think that there's a lot of fighters who are heavily favored on this card. You know, Kayla Harrison, Bo Nickel, and I think that they'll possibly get those wins and then make it look, you know, not so challenging. But for somebody who's really just walking through fire and it's not doing anything to them, I gotta lean towards Zhang Weili. I think that she's going to be the one that puts a stamp on the case of her being the number one pound for pound fighter in the world, as far as women are concerned, and also making it almost like a foregone conclusion that she goes up to challenge Alexa Grasso for that belt after she gets her business done with Valentina Shevchenko. So I got to go with Zhang Weili as being the person that really puts a stamp on her marking the division.
Yeah, I love that one. The first name that jumped to mind was Kayla, because I think she's gonna make a massive impact. And I think that it's gonna be all the more impressive considering the circumstances that she is facing. I mean, I think she's gonna look lean. I think she's gonna look like a completely different person. And I still think she's gonna dominate. But I have to agree with you. I'm going with Weili as well. Her performance against Amanda Lemos doesn't get talked about enough. The level of domination that she put on Lemos, she received in 25 minutes 24 total strikes in that fight. And I think she dished out near enough 200. And Amanda Lemos is a good fighter.
Yeah.
And she absolutely destroyed her for 25 minutes. I've never seen a more dominant performance that didn't end. You know what I mean? That went to the scorecards. Or certainly not in women's MMA. She has shown that she's gone to an entirely new level since she put wrestling into her game. And I think that there was a time when I thought this would be competitive with Yan Zhenan, and looking at it now, the more and more I think about it, I think she's going to do exactly what you said. I think she's going to absolutely dominate from start to finish, however long it goes on for. And that people are going to start talking about her as, all right, do we have a potential female goat on our hands? And I do think she gets propelled into that fight with Grasso as well.
And you know what I think? I think that, when we talk about female goats in that conversation, like, we always talk about, Ronda Rousey, we talk about Amanda Nunes, and Valentina Shevchenko. That's kind of the three-headed monster there. But I think that the next line, Zhang Weili has to be in that. Like, you cannot deny her. If she gets this done on this stage in the fashion that we are talking about, you can't deny her as being part of that conversation, being part of the Mount Rushmore of female fighters.
I think the fact that she's not seen as the pound for pound number one woman now is ridiculous.
It really is.
I'm not saying she's good, but her not being number one is bananas after the performances she's putting in her last three.
Yeah.
Like she retired NJ. She made Carla look like I know Carla's not a world beater, but a lot of women have trouble with Carla, and she made her look like nothing.
Yeah.
And then she does that to Lemos. I don't know.
I agree. When Jack said,
would be. I think that has to do with it.
I agree. That was my pick as well. So maybe I should just go first, right? Because shit. But that's a really good one. I totally agree with everything you guys are saying.